Good morning. This is Chris of Wilson Live Sculpture, and you're watching my YouTube channel. I appreciate your support and subscribing. I'm going to share lots of secrets in carving walking sticks. I've been carving walking sticks for the last couple decades. In fact, there's a very popular YouTuber on YouTube that carves just walking sticks and does a great job. I have a different style, although I primarily carve wildlife. These are more stylized. I do have an eagle that's going to be emerging for one I'm going to show you. But I'm going to show you how I can carve these much faster than I used to. I've sold walking sticks in galleries for many thousands of dollars, and they've been quite popular. So hopefully these techniques I've shown, I'm going to show in sanding and finishing and carving, which I've actually shown videos of in previous videos, and I will I'll put links in this video so you can find those, some of my secrets. Well, now we got this sunshine coming out, so maybe it's backlit. I'll look at the camera and see how you can see the work and give close-ups here throughout the video. But you can see that I have this piece in red cedar, which won first place last year in a professional level wood carving competition, and this one in oak won second place. Now I'm recently carving this piece, and I think it's sassafras. Kind of smells like sassafras and carves like it, but I'm not quite sure. And I'm carving, I carved this bald eagle, which is going to be an accessory for this, I'll show you right now. This is a walking stick with a bald eagle. See if you can see that okay there. So it's the stick has been formed by a vine going around it. All these are found wood, and I have a video on how you can find your own wood sculptures. Wood for sculpting. Here's a better view of the other pieces here, and then here's the one I'm working on. So this one I didn't do a lot to. I have stained. It's a wild cherry. It has been stained. It's really rough, and I carved these little steps in it after I stained and finished it. But I want the focal point to be on the eagle, and probably up here. So I'm going to hide this. I'm going to make it so you can hold it, so it has a function, but it's decorative, and this is a decorative carving carved in tupelo wood of a miniature bald eagle, the national symbol of the USA. So I want to make a statement with this piece during this election year. So we'll see how it develops into a freedom cane, or these are, you can call walking sticks canes. They're a little bit different. Mine are a little bit longer, kind of ceremonial. They have less function. I try to put more art in my work and less function, because function is the definition of craft, and I've been trained as a fine artist, sculptor. So you'll see, yeah, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put this down now because it is a little bit fragile, and I don't want to damage it. So I usually just handle things in bags like this and put this down. Let me show some close-ups again of these pieces, so you can see. There's red cedar. That's the first place piece. I like to work on a cushioned surface. This is a piece of foam on a table, just some horses underneath it. And I like to have a fan. So I'm going to demonstrate some of my techniques and explain some others. Okay, here's the piece the bald eagle is on. I mentioned a vine was strapped around the piece, and that formed a really cool, I could easily carve a snake, and I've done that before, but lots of people do that, and I want to be original and creative and just different. That's what makes my work stand apart. The piece of red cedar was found, and I just let these pieces air dry. I might put some wax on the ends, although this end is very, both ends I actually appealed to me because they were very, very different. This kind of looked like a head of an animal over here. And you can see they're really fluted. Okay, this is oak. It kind of looks like a head of a camel or something. Very abstract. But these fluted techniques, I developed using a new cutter. It's a Manpa tools from South Korea, and even this hard white oak, the sassafras here is softer, but the white oak, the Manpa cutter carbide bit carved it very beautifully, and you can watch the video. I'm not sure if I have the one with oak, but I know I have the video with the red cedar, and I'm standing up working on it. You can just watch me and how I carve these flutes. Now I've gone back and sanded and softened some of the details, but it is quite long. It's more of a ceremonial staff, and I've contrasted the sapwood with the heartwood. That's why I like cedar. This piece of sassafras has some bark inclusions. Okay, there we go. And you can see how it's formed with the space between it. This is called negative space. And through my one I did last year in this oak, I did carve some negative space in it, and that's what I'm doing in this piece here. I'm trying to carve, let me back up here so you can see. So you can see the detail, and I can show you what I'm going to be working on here. The light just came on here, but now actually you can see the negative space quite well. Okay, you can see the voids through it. And that's a focal point in sculpture. I want to create multiple focal points throughout the piece, some nice flow lines. And so what I did was I drew it in chalk first, and then I drew it in permanent marker where I wanted to carve away. And you can see this piece. I have a video, short video, 10 minutes, of how I used that Manpa cutter recently. This was probably about a year ago, because I won the competition a year ago. This got first and this got second. But this piece of sassafras is a new stylized piece, and I really like this negative space and the curves that I've carved into it. This is not natural. This part is part of it, but I've emphasized, I've gone back and made it even more twisted, and I'm going to sand it up, and I'm going to show you some sanding tricks now. I like to carve with the fan next to me. It's very hot this summer. It helps keep the mosquitoes away, and it also blows the dust away from me. But I'm going to try to do it without, so that you can hear me better. A couple of tricks I use are sanding, little contour sanders. They have cushion. Okay, these are little sanding foam sanders. People use them for their nails. Okay, and you can buy them from nail salons. You can also buy these from hobby stores. And this has a nice contour. You look at the grit. This is coarse. This is more smooth. This is about 220. This is about 120, maybe even 80 on one side. Actually, I'm close. It says 100. So actually, it's not that coarse, because coarse you can get 40, 60. I don't like those that thin. I mean that coarse, because it creates really abrasion steps to get out. So I'm going to carve away some of this, sand away some of the rough parts in here, starting with this 100 grit. And that is a trick I've developed over time. Let me see, back this up a little bit. I think my tripod is drooping here, so I gotta tighten it. There we go. Now you can see some of the details I'm working on here. See how it works in there really well, this special little contour sander. And this also helps refine planes. The planes are the lines around the sculpture, and I like to use actually a smoother sandpaper for that. You can also use files, like Whistler files or rasp, but a lot of them are too coarse, so this is very fine. And again, this wood's not that hard. This is sassafras, so you can cheat and carve. You can sand and kind of refine those planes with a higher grit sandpaper. It's smoother, in other words. Now I'm developing some texture in these grooves. This is a little bit different than the others. Now here's an example of the texture. Okay, that was done with a power tool. And I demonstrate my favorite power tools, the NSK Esport 500 with a little stone, little cylinder, or a sphere actually, and it's a cylinder with a sphere end, rounded end. So I'm able to press the little, but a sphere would work just fine. I'm able to press the little ball end in there and create those little depressions, and that's going to absorb the light and create more texture contrast, which is an element in sculpture that has a tactile sensation of smooth areas you want to touch, and other areas it's more of an interesting contrast, and you want both. So you can see the spiraling lines. Try to turn the piece around, all different angles. Okay, since you've been sticking with me, I'm going to show you another trick. I revealed this in a short recently. This is the sanding glove. And it's just a glove with Velcro attached to it. You can make your own. I bought this years ago, and you only need just one. I'm right-handed, so I put it on my right hand. And this is perfect for some worn-out sandpaper. Okay, after a while, some of the hook and loop sandpaper loses its grit. Okay, I'm going to use 220, which is pretty fine. I've got 120 here too, which I would start with, but I think this is getting pretty smooth here. The advantage of this is it stays on your hand, and actually it has some comfort. You're not sanding your skin away, and anytime you can get some foam or something between the sandpaper and your hand, the softer the finish is going to be. So that's the sanding glove trick. But sometimes it works fine. Sometimes you just have to take it off and you have to fold the sandpaper. Okay, I like cloth back sandpaper, but you just have to kind of fold it like this, and then you can work in these grooves. And it's a lot of work, but if you want a rich finish and you want that grain of the wood to shine through, you have to kind of follow all the different grains, different grits, from say 80 grit to 120 to 150 to 220 to 320 to 400, even maybe 600. Depends on the hardness of the wood. Like oak, I sand harder. Cedar and the sassafras, I don't have to sand as high a grit. You can even polish the wood. And I also demonstrate in many videos how I finish my wood with waxes and oils, even dyeing the wood if I want some color. So there's the bottom of it. I'm going to show you the whole thing now, up close. So hopefully you've learned some little tricks there. There's some nice end grain. You can see how I'm bringing that grain up. You can sand end grain to a higher finish because it's harder. Any wood that's hard, you can get a better finish. So I'm going to really smooth this up, probably 600 grit. But I got to start, 220. I've already got a rough sanded. Sand with power tools, an orbital sander. I've got many different sanding tricks on different videos, and I also have a video how you can find wood like this out in nature. It's actually not that hard. So thanks a lot for following me and watching my channel. Have a great day.